Welcome back to Family and Fit, where we talk fitness and how to integrate it in your busy lifestyle. I think I might have to change the lighting here in my home gym. The light's in the very center, and it's like very easy for me to step on like this side of the light and for me to get dark or blown out, or the background to be blown out, and I guess it ain't that bad. I mean, like that, it's kind of a little bit dark. Oh, it's not that bad, but as long as I stay facing towards the center, we're good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just show y'all like a quick tour of my home gym. I was gonna make a whole entire video about my home gym, but I really don't have enough stuff. It's really not that big, not that great, so not much of a point. We're gonna go through that, and then we're also gonna go through my trap routine, what I've been doing for my traps here lately, and some different variation stuff, and I'll walk you through each one of the different variations that I'm going through. As I said in one of my other videos, I'm only doing one type of exercise to do my traps right now. I'm gonna go ahead and, since you can see it in the background as is, this right here is my squat machine. It's got another name for it. I don't know, I just call it a squat machine. And I call it a squat machine, and it's different than the leg press because you are in a standing position. You may have seen it in some of my other videos, but if you haven't seen those, it's a lot better than the squat press because you're more in the standing position. It's better for building glutes. They're both decent and they both have their advantages and disadvantages, but this one's a little bit closer to free weights than a leg press would be, just because it takes a little bit more core stability. And then you can also turn around and reverse and really target the glutes where your face is facing in towards the mat. Got the big speaker over here. I got a decent little radio back over there. So I got that decent little radio. It's hooked up to Google, whatchamacallit. It's hooked up to a Google Home. And so basically I can say, tell my phone, hey, play that on there. And it'll start playing that. It plays through Chromecast audio. That's what it's called, Chromecast audio. So it plays through there. I can play Pandora and just cast it directly to it. I got quite a bit of plates, just weights in general. That's only a couple of them. Here I got the 90-pound Bowflex weights. I don't know if you can see that there. 90 pounds. I also have another pair of the 55s up in my bedroom. I just keep them up there because you never know when you want to hit a set of curls or do a little bit of shoulder pressing or something quick, and if they're there, you're more likely to hit them. Sometimes when I leave the gym, I have to rush out of the gym, so when I get home, sometimes I just want to do a little bit extra, or if I just can't make it to the gym that day, then this is what I'll do. I'll just come to my home gym and do my lifts. Next thing I got is my bench press here. As you can see, I already got the weights and everything set up for doing my trap exercises. And then again, you can see in the background, got my punching bag and my MMA mats. They're pretty decent size. I'm gonna run over here real quick. That way you can kind of get a perspective of how big they actually are. So they're quite a bit bigger. They look really small whenever you're standing from over there, but you stand over here and look how small everything looks over there. So I got lights for up here too, but I just kind of like that dark kind of, it's like a little bit relaxing. Like you step over to that side of the room, it almost feels like another room. But loving that. I got a little bit of my martial arts stuff here. Got some gloves and whatnot. I got my fiance some boxing gloves to hit the bag and whatnot. So yeah, just a little bit of stuff here. So there's not really too much going on. Little scale. Another thing is I got the pull-up bar for the door. That's a must. I'm gonna get another one for my bedroom because sometimes I move that one back and forth. But sometimes when it comes to working out, you just want the most convenient thing possible because you're more likely to just jump up there and hit a few sets. Sometimes if I'm getting ready for work, I'll jump up and hit a few sets, and I don't really have enough time to be running downstairs and add one extra thing to my list of things I already got to do to get out the door. Another thing I got right here, probably can't tell what that is at all, but that is a piece of headgear for doing neck workouts. I really don't do them. It's something I've been wanting to get into, so I got it quite a while back. Still ain't really used it that much, but I intend to eventually. As I've explained in some of my other videos, whenever I've done my trap exercises, they have hurt so tremendously bad the following days that I just didn't even want to do them anymore, like at all. Yeah, so therefore I wasn't too worried about getting any extra neck workouts. My neck already felt like it was on fire and whatnot. But yeah, So now we're gonna go ahead and get into the actual trap exercises. So I got the lavalier mic on me today, so hopefully the audio is pretty decent. It's pretty echoey down here, and I've shot some video down here before, and I thought it kind of sounded like crap. But yeah, I really love my home gym. This is really the only thing I've been hitting at the home gym here recently because I'm not benching anymore. I did a bench cycle where I was on bench press for a couple months. Now I'm off of that, back on dumbbells. I don't really like using the Bowflex on really heavy weight because if you drop them, they're a little bit fragile and they will break. I've actually broke one of the plates in there and they're a little bit messed up from, I was repping out the 90s. I got like 3 reps of them and then I just, dropped them down to the ground. They're not super durable, but they are super versatile. They're kind of worth it. They're still worth it for their money, even though they're so expensive. The versatility pays for, everything. So this is the only workout that I would potentially use wrist straps for. I don't have any wrist straps right now. So what I'm using is my MMA gloves, and they work really nice actually for it because they work as padding on the palm of my hand as well, so that way I'm not jacking up my hands, because I noticed one of the things that kind of gets wore out a little bit before my muscles do is my hands. My hands get really like calloused up, and my calluses start ripping off because I go pretty hard. I don't know how many sets I'll actually do today, but yeah, I'm gonna kind of just go through, show y'all each different variation. I'll do a set of each variation for you guys and show y'all what I'm doing and kind of explain while I'm doing it after I show you what's going on. So one thing that's kind of a must, I don't even know how you could do it. I've tried to grab with both hands on one side of the bar, both like that and like that, and every time I've done it, the bar wants to try to roll out of my hands. So one thing that has pretty much immediately stopped that is doing one neutral grip and one reverse grip. And that tends to work out pretty well. I'm starting off very heavy for me. I think this is what I was finished out on the other day, but I think we'll be all right. Your traps are meant to handle a lot. I think, yeah, this is actually 25 pounds less on each side, so a total of 50 pounds less than what I was lifting the other day at the end of my lift. Or not at the end of my lift, I ended up dropping some weight so that way I could get a little bit more time under tension. So one thing I did there is I picked up, I held for 10 seconds, I placed down, I switched my grip, lifted up for 10 seconds, set it back down again. Now what I'll generally do is I'll do the same variation about 5 to 10 times, probably more like 10, because I'm not really doing reps, I'm just doing 10-second holds, and I'll do that maybe like 2 times like I just did, rest for about a minute, 2 times. I'm not trying to shrug, I'm not trying to do anything. The only cue that I'm really trying to emphasize is letting my shoulders hang down as hard as I can, like just letting the weight just hang there. And you should feel it just lighten up your traps. And you're almost it's not only just letting your arms hang, it's kind of almost pushing your shoulders down, like you're almost like you're using your lats to pull your shoulders down as well. Kind of pull, it's just, you can feel it lighten up. So I'll go ahead and I'm gonna do the same variation again. And I'll keep rotating my grips back and forth on this lift. Another thing that I'm doing a little bit of is I'm trying to stand on my tippy toes a bit just to get a little bit of calf activation, maybe get some calf gains while I'm doing get my calf gains up while I'm trying to get my trap gains up, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so here's another cue that I try to do, and I only do this cue after I get a really good mind-muscle connection for the day. because traps are one of the harder muscles to isolate, but I have already built a decent relationship with them because I really do focus on mind-muscle connection a lot, and it is one of the most major things when it comes to fitness and being able to work out the right muscle group and the right muscles. You know, within your first year, you can just kind of lift weights and you'll start seeing progress. But after a while, if you're not lifting in a manner to target the muscles you want to target, you'll target unwanted muscles basically. So I'm lifting on this cue here, off the rack, and then bounce on my toes. And a lot of times I'll do pulsates of 10 on that. And the reason why I say don't start the bounce until you really built up a good mind-muscle connection with your traps is because what will happen is your body will try to, or your shoulders will try to hold themselves up in just a slightly up position. So I'll try to do this for you guys. I'll get up close to the camera. Get up close to the camera so y'all can see. So kind of in a relaxed state. This is where your traps will try to pull your shoulders back into position. And they'll start to do that whenever you start implementing the bounce. But what I want you to do is not have your shoulders in this relaxed position. I want you to actually let them, look at that. So relaxed position, let me loosen them up, get them nice and relaxed, but look at that. I'm not flexing my traps at all. I'm forcing look how I'm rolling my shoulders in a little bit. Try to do like you're rolling your shoulders in, but don't let them roll in all the way. So boom, like you're gonna roll in and then place back. So roll like you're rolling your shoulders forwards, pulling your shoulders down, and then pulling your shoulders back, so that you're like almost pulling your chest up to the sky. There's two different ways that you could do that. You could roll over first and then pull back into it, where you poke your chest up to the sky, or you can just place your shoulders down as hard as you can. And but this is kind of like a nice to lean forward and then pop back into that position. That nice roll. It's like whenever you see like a bodybuilder doing a move. Camera's about to die on me, so let me hurry up and bust through these last few bits of variation. Okay. So, next form of variation is going to be behind the back. Exact same lift, but you're just going to pull from behind. Let them shoulders hang. And the reason for switching your hand grips, it's not just fatigue in your hands. The rotation of where your palm is at changes the way your shoulder rotates in your cup. And by only doing one variation on one side, your traps are getting activated a little bit more. You can feel it just a little bit. So if you were to do multiple sets on one hand direction, you'll start to notice your traps are burning in one area a little bit more than what the other one is. Say for instance, one of them's burning more closer to your back and the other one's burning more closer towards the top of your trap. It's definitely activating some different muscle fibers. I'll switch into it. Oh, these bastards are hard. Okay. Now I'm just going to the third bit of variation. There's actually 4, but the camera dies on me. This one is the same thing, but you'll swap legs. Now with this one right here, I only do my hand variation. I'll do it this way, and then when I switch my legs, I'll switch my hands. And the reason why I do that is so this hand forces the bar into my leg, and this back hand forces the bar into my leg that way. Let me go ahead and switch real quick. So this hand right here, grab behind, so you're pushing the bar into your leg that way. This hand right here will push the bar into your leg this way. Roll the bar back a bit. And so the reason for going about doing it this way is so that the reason for going in these different variations, so like in front of you, behind you, in between your legs, and then swapping your legs, is because you're changing the angle at which the weight is pulling down on your traps. So that angle, so whether you're pulling this way, you're pulling this way, you can just see the way my arms are moving. That's gonna change the way that your traps are targeted. And through mind muscle connection, you can kind of determine which you like best, and maybe what you're trying to do. Like if you're feeling it in the top of your traps and you're trying to build taller traps, maybe do the version that's helping you the best with that. Mechanically, there are ones that are better than the other, and I'll get into that in later videos, but mind muscle connection overrides the mechanical in some points, especially when these are kind of like minor variations of the same exercise. For some reason, you might just be rolling your shoulders around different than somebody is, or you might be holding your shoulders back a little bit more than somebody else is, and that might be causing you to get a different mind muscle connection and different muscle fibers to be targeted during a lift. And so one more thing else that's very important is the height of the bar to your knees. I like this very high on my knees. Like I'm way above my knees. Like I'm literally only lifting like 3 inches. And the reason for only lifting about 3 inches is so that I don't have to have much strength in any of my other muscles. I'm not using hardly any other muscles besides just my traps. I'm literally only popping off like 3 inches. And I would actually be surprised if this is even 3 inches. So, yeah. So, and you could do those where you hit like 10 of each, and then you bang, bang, bang to each one. Just switch it up however you'd like. Maybe you want to do, just keep bouncing around to each variation the way I just demonstrated. I generally don't like that way. I like to pick one, do like 10 sets of that, and then do a couple sets of some of the other ones. And then every session I might rotate one, or I might stick to one for a few sessions. I always mix things up when it comes to that, because I believe variation is one of the kings that everybody leaves out. They don't talk about variation that much. They tell you to stick to the same exercises, and your muscles, they're dynamic. They're so dynamic that by telling them to only lift one certain way, sure, it's a lot harder to track progress, but if you just use your confidence and you use other good fitness practices and other good bodybuilding practices and weightlifting practices, you'll be able to gain muscles. It may be harder to track, but over courses of a year or two, you're gonna have way more significant gains. I've made pretty solid gains over just a year and a half, and my whole entire first year I was cutting. I'm getting super duper satisfied with the way that my size is. Like I'm getting to the point where like if anybody has anything to say about it, they can go themselves, because I know for a fact that my progress is ridiculously great. Just ridiculously great. Like if you knew how I put in 9 months of cutting my first year of just like cut the whole time, and I was able to, and I just cut too slow is what it was. I cut too slow, too long, but I still made significant progress over the course of these years. I'm in a cut right now, and I think I'm gaining more muscle now than I've gained while I was bulking. I don't know what the deal is. I think it might have something to do with intermittent fasting and being in a caloric deficit. I think it puts you into like a more animalistic mode. It releases more animalistic hormones, and it just causes you to get bigger, because like my weight has hit about 149, 150, and I've plateaued in my weight, but my fat's just starting to shred off still. So I'm starting to see lines popping through, abs starting to pop out, and I'm just seeing all kinds of progress and results. And you know what? It's friggin' ridiculous, because I'm in a cut right now, and I'm over a year and a half into fitness. So I should have been beyond those itty bitty beginner gains from the get-go. And already, if you look at the size, I mean, I'm not huge or anything like that, but like if you look at the size of my arms, you would think by now I would start slowing down a little bit. This is after a year and 6 months. I mean, by the way, stay tuned for my year and 7 months transformation. It'll probably be coming out in the next like 3 months or so. 3 months. I'm retarded. 3 weeks. So yeah, stay tuned to that, and I'll catch you on the next one. Also, I'll link up my 1 year 6 months transformation. I'll put it in the back side of this one. And I'm looking for a really epic transformation to the next month, just because I'm going hard, and I'm shredding this whole month, and I'm going aggressive for you guys. I just want to make sure that I can give you all the most epic transformation I can potentially give you as a natural lifter. And yeah, just keep doing this thing. Everybody, stay fit, get fit, and I'll catch you later.